The rain was coming down in sheets, mirroring the storm inside me. Bertram, a simple mechanic in the heart of Cincinnati, Ohio, had always prided myself on my honesty, my loyalty. I was 43, happily married, or so I thought, to my wife Isolde for 15 years. We had built a life together, a comfortable one, filled with Sunday morning pancakes, summer trips to the lake, and quiet evenings spent reading side by side on the couch. Then came the day I found the burner phone. It was hidden in the back of Isolde's closet, tucked away beneath a pile of old scarves. My heart hammered in my chest as I switched it on, a sense of dread washing over me. The screen lit up, revealing a string of messages, each one a dagger twisting in my gut. They were from someone named Lucian, filled with the kind of intimate, suggestive language that should only be shared between husband and wife. Except they weren't being shared with me. "Can't wait to see you tonight, my love," one message read. "I've been thinking about you all day." My hands trembled as I scrolled through the rest of the messages, each one a confirmation of my worst fears. Isolde was having an affair. The world seemed to tilt on its axis, the solid ground beneath my feet crumbling away. How could this be happening? How could the woman I loved, the woman I had given my life to, betray me in such a way? I spent the next few days in a daze, barely able to function. I went through the motions at work, fixing cars with a mechanical precision that belied the chaos raging within me. I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Isolde's face, contorted in a lie, whispering sweet nothings to another man. I knew I had to confront her, but I didn't know how. I wanted to scream, to shout, to demand answers, but I also feared what she might say. I feared the truth, the confirmation of my worst nightmares. Finally, one evening, I couldn't take it anymore. Isolde came home from work, her face tired but otherwise unremarkable. She greeted me with a peck on the cheek, the same routine we had followed for years. But this time it felt different, tainted by her deception. "Isolde, we need to talk," I said, my voice barely above a whisper. She looked at me, her brow furrowed in concern. "What's wrong, Bertram? You look pale." I held up the burner phone, my hand shaking. "I found this." Her face drained of color. For a moment she said nothing, her eyes wide with panic. Then she started to cry. "Bertram, I can explain," she stammered, tears streaming down her face. "Explain what, Isolde? Explain how you could betray me like this. Explain how you could lie to my face every single day." She sank to the floor, sobbing uncontrollably. "It just happened," she said, her voice muffled by her hands. "I didn't mean for it to go this far. Who is he, Isolde?" "Who is Lucian?" She hesitated, then whispered. He's a colleague at work." "A colleague? That's all you have to say? A colleague?" My anger surged, a tidal wave threatening to consume me. "How long has this been going on?" "A few months," she admitted, her voice barely audible. "It started as just flirting, but then it became more. I know it was wrong, Bertram. I'm so sorry." "Sorry? Was that all she had to offer?" Sorry wasn't going to erase the images in my head, the betrayal that had shattered my heart into a million pieces. Sorry wasn't going to fix the years of trust she had destroyed in an instant. "I don't understand, Isolde," I said, my voice trembling. Why would you do this to me? What did I do to deserve this?" She looked up at me, her eyes filled with a mixture of guilt and desperation. "It's not you, Bertram, it's me. I've been feeling lost lately, like I'm not living my own life. Lucian made me feel alive again, alive, so I had been making her feel dead. All those years, all those sacrifices, all that love, and I had been suffocating her. The thought was almost too much to bear. "So what now, Isolde?" I asked, my voice hollow. "What happens now?" She looked at me, her eyes pleading. "I want to fix this, Bertram. I want to make things right. I'll do anything." But I knew deep down that it was too late. The trust was gone, shattered beyond repair. The woman I had loved was a stranger, a liar, a betrayer. I couldn't forgive her, not now, maybe not ever. "I think you should leave, Isolde," I said, my voice cold and detached. "I think you should pack your things and go." She stared at me, her face a mask of shock and disbelief. "Bertram, please don't do this. Don't throw away everything we've built together. It's already gone, Isolde," I said, my voice flat. "You threw it away. Now please just go." She left that night, taking with her a suitcase filled with clothes and a lifetime of memories. As I watched her drive away, I felt a strange mixture of emotions: anger, sadness, relief. It was over. The life I had known was gone, replaced by an uncertain future. I spent the next few weeks in a haze, trying to pick up the pieces of my shattered life. I threw myself into my work, finding solace in the familiar routine of fixing cars. But even that couldn't completely distract me from the pain. Everywhere I looked, I saw reminders of Isolde, her favorite coffee mug, the book she had been reading, the scent of her perfume lingering in the air. I knew I couldn't stay in that house, surrounded by those memories. So I put it up for sale and started looking for a new place to live, a fresh start, a chance to rebuild my life. One day, while I was working on a car, a woman walked into the garage. She was tall and elegant, with a kind smile and piercing blue eyes. Her name was Meredith, and she introduced herself as a private investigator. "Mr. Bertram, I've been hired to look into the activities of a man named Lucian," she said, her voice professional but compassionate. "I understand he may have had a relationship with your wife." My heart sank. I didn't want to relive the pain, but I knew I had to hear what she had to say. Meredith explained that Lucian was a con artist, a master manipulator who preyed on vulnerable women. He would seduce them, gain their trust, and then bleed them dry financially and emotionally. He had a long history of affairs, broken marriages, and ruined lives. "He's a predator, Mr. Bertram," Meredith said, her voice grim. "And your wife was just one of his victims." As I listened to Meredith's story, a wave of anger washed over me, stronger than anything I had felt before. Not at Isolde, but at Lucian. He had manipulated her, taken advantage of her vulnerability, and destroyed my marriage in the process. I asked Meredith to tell me everything she knew about Lucian, every detail of his past, every lie he had told. I wanted to know everything, so I could make him pay for what he had done. Meredith provided me with a wealth of information, including Lucian's address, his financial records, and the names of his other victims. As I pieced together the puzzle, a plan began to form in my mind, a plan for revenge. I started by anonymously contacting Lucian's employer, providing them with evidence of his fraudulent activities. He was promptly fired, his reputation in tatters. Next, I contacted Lucian's other victims, women who had been hurt and betrayed just like Isolde. Together, we filed a class-action lawsuit against him, seeking compensation for the damages he had caused. Lucian tried to fight back, but he was no match for the combined forces of his victims. He was eventually convicted of fraud and sentenced to several years in prison. As I watched him being led away in handcuffs, I felt a sense of satisfaction, but also a deep sadness. My revenge had been achieved, but it hadn't brought me the happiness I had hoped for. The pain of Isolde's betrayal still lingered, a constant reminder of what I had lost. I moved into a small apartment on the other side of town, a clean slate, a new beginning. I focused on my work, my friends, and my hobbies. I started taking guitar lessons, something I had always wanted to do. I even started dating again, cautiously, tentatively, unsure if I could ever fully trust another woman. One evening I received a phone call from Isolde. Her voice was weak and strained. She told me that she had been diagnosed with cancer, a rare and aggressive form. She was undergoing treatment, but the prognosis was not good. My heart ached for her. Despite everything, I couldn't help but feel sorry for her. She had made a mistake, a terrible mistake, but she didn't deserve this. I visited her in the hospital. She was frail and pale, her hair thin from the chemotherapy. She apologized for what she had done, for the pain she had caused. She said she understood if I couldn't forgive her, but she wanted me to know that she was truly sorry. I sat by her bedside, holding her hand. I didn't say anything about forgiveness. I just told her that I hoped she would get better, that I was thinking of her. Isolde passed away a few months later. I attended her funeral, standing alongside her family and friends. As I watched her casket being lowered into the ground, I felt a sense of closure, a sense of peace. I had survived the betrayal, the heartbreak, the revenge. I had rebuilt my life, stronger and more resilient than before. I had learned that forgiveness is not always possible, but compassion is always necessary. And I had learned that even in the darkest of times, there is always hope for a new beginning. Life is not about revenge. It is about rebuilding yourself and moving on.